Hello everyone, this is Hemin and welcome to a new finished sketchbook tour. I think I got this sketchbook around the end of last year. I'm not the kind of a person who tries to finish a sketchbook as soon as possible. I don't draw in my sketchbook every day and I don't force myself to do that when I don't feel like. I think the main reasons why I was able to finish a sketchbook without much stress is because A, I just concentrated on practice drawing a lot of doodles to find a new art style, and B, I had a monthly project for our Patreon community. Also, sometimes I had my branding project. Because I did the themed project pretty consistently and regularly, I was able to understand what to practice and what to draw in my sketchbook. Also, I had to communicate with the audience at the same time whenever I made a new post on social media, mainly to understand what kind of themes they would like to see and what I would enjoy. Now let's get started. I got this sketchbook from a local art supply store in Adelaide. The name is Art to Art. I always get the same sketchbook from the shop just because it is the cheapest one. I think I got it for like $6.40 or $50 or something like that. I really don't care about the quality of the papers much, but if you want to ask me what I consider when I pick up a new sketchbook, it would be the price firstly and then the number of the pages. I didn't get rid of the sticker. It's because a lot of people ask me about my sketchbook and I always had to check this detail again to make sure I was giving the right information to them. In case anyone is new here, it is A5 portrait and the thickness is 150 GSM. I started on 29th of December 2022. I don't remember what I was thinking at the time because it was the end of the year and I didn't have any project to work. So I think I wasn't sure what to draw on the first page. I practiced drawing some trees. I think I used this pen, this green pen, and these two color pencils for these pages. I used to think my tree drawings looked too boring, so I wanted to upgrade the style. I drew the evolution of the tadpole to become a frog. The face looks really adorable. At the beginning of using this sketchbook, I was thinking like I should practice drawing more of water creature rather than consistently drawing bunnies and cats. But I ended up drawing the same animal for the most of the project that I worked in the past. Can you see this sketch? I drew them to make an animation in Procreate. I didn't have much experience of making an animation. I really didn't know what to make and what to draw. At that time, my boyfriend and I were super obsessed with a K-pop song, Attention by NewJeans. So I decided to reference their music video and the practice video in their studio to make a really short animation with my bunny drawing as a practice. So I'm gonna find the animation on my one of social media in case anyone hasn't seen it yet. It is a 6-second animation, but I spent almost 3 weeks. It was really fun to make the animation and to checking out the process. Since then, I haven't touched the animation tool again, so that's why we don't have a new animation. These pages are related to the first Patreon project, and I think the theme was sending mail or letters. If you have followed my art journey on this channel, or Instagram, Twitter, or TikTok since last January, you might know the stories and I posted these illustrations, and I really want to say thank you so much for enjoying that. A lot of people were so obsessed with the stories and they commented they felt like watching a K-drama. I got so much engagement at the time compared to the previous month, so I realized making a story with illustrations might be the good strategy to increase the awareness of my illustration. I love drawing hydrangeas. They are my favorite flowers during summer. This part was for a Patreon project for February. The theme was a convenience store. No, snack shopping at a convenience store. They are all my initial thoughts to draw computer wallpapers as a part of the tulip tier. Specifically, I was thinking of 7-Eleven in Japan, the perspective as a person who works there, and I tried to work out how I wanted to draw the inside of the shop. And here are more of initial thoughts of the art print and the sticker for an art mail, and more of the initial ideas of the sticker. After I finished all of the patterning rewards, I usually spend the rest of the month practicing drawing doodles or gouache painting with the same theme of the month. I really liked these ideas and the drawing style, so if I have a project with a similar theme, again in the future I would like to draw digitally, referencing with these sketches, and potentially there will be new stickers that will go on my shop or Patreon. I had a spring-themed project. I think the background was like a lake park surrounded by cherry blossoms. I like a drawing background doodles in that size, small size, so I can save more pages and I can have more space to draw in one page. I tried to design an isometric illustration of a cherry blossom park for a tutorial. I had a lot of fun of designing this illustration. It's because these drawings made me feel like I was designing an island of Animal Crossing. I had so much fun of designing cherry blossom trees when I worked on this project. The drawing on this page are my initial ideas for April themed project. It was about a day trip to a strawberry farm. I drew these pages after we went to Kuiper Forest. I found it was really magical. I really like the sound of the wind and the shaking trees. I've never seen that kind of mushrooms in person in my life before, so being in the forest made me feel like I was in a dark magical forest. After we were back home, I wanted to draw what I saw during the day. This page is like my visual diary. These pages are more of my initial ideas of patterning rewards for April. I like taking photos of my shoes with flowers in the nature in the city. I wanted to create an art with that perspective. After these pages, I drew more ideas to create a sticker and an art print for the art mail. Sometimes I found that designing a new sticker was difficult because it has to be really simple and interesting and fun at the same time. I don't remember what I was thinking when I drew these people. From this page, I started working on a new Patreon project for May. The theme we chose was a peaceful evening in the neighborhood. People sometimes ask me if I find inspirations from mostly Korea and Japan, and my answer is yes. It's because I grew up in a very countryside in Korea in my childhood, and then my family and I moved to a very big city in the late 2008. I've been to Canada and the US, and currently I'm living in Australia, but when I start a new project and draw a new illustration, I tend to think of my background, like the environment I was in for the longest time for the inspirations, and then once I know what I want to draw for the project, I started finding some visual references online or picture books. When I was drawing this illustration, one of the photos that I was using for a reference was a countryside in Japan. It looked like a very hilly, quiet town. I had no idea where it was. Randomly, I was saving a bunch of photos that fit to what I was thinking for the project. When we were on the latest holiday in Japan on last August, we were accidentally walking on the street that was exactly the same place that I was referencing when I was drawing the illustration. It was in Nara. I was really surprised. Before I realized it, I felt oddly familiar with the surroundings. I really felt like I had been to there before, even though it was the first time to visit to Nara. The spot was very close to Nara Park. When I was working on the project, I expected like the place would be in a very random spot in an unknown town in Japan. I was trying to design a vending machine illustration in light version for a tutorial. Initially, I wanted to add a few cats around the vending machine, but it reminded me of so much about Sailor Moon, so in the end I drew 2 bunnies for the final art. These pages are all about my short project for a summer collection. Any of you guys have followed my art journey for years, you might recognize this goose character. I like drawing this goose holding a book always. That's her favorite hobby. I decided that when I created this character for the first time in 2021, I think it was October or November. They were my initial thoughts and sketches to design a sticker for an art mail for May. On this page, I was trying to design some flower illustrations, and I continued on the next pages. On these pages, I tried to design new art print. Mostly I drew the initial thoughts of the background. On the next pages, I drew some more detailed elements to make my first sticker sheets. I'm going to put the final design of the sticker sheets here so you guys can see what is changed and what I referenced. On the next couple of pages, I drew some initial thoughts to work on June's Patreon project. The theme was an aquarium date. For the Procreate tutorial of the month, our community wanted to see how I drew a jellyfish-inspired mermaid. So I made some time to practice drawing jellyfishes and the posture of the mermaid. Also, I practiced her hairstyles. After I finished making the tutorial, when I had my personal time, I practiced drawing some octopuses and sharks. On these pages, I just wanted to practice drawing more trees and the nature. I like this kind of nature doodles because it makes me feel very relaxed. I think it was July, I had a ducklings farmers market themed project, so I practiced drawing lots of ducklings and vegetables doodles. Oh, I just remember I got asked a lot about the orange pen that I use. This one, 925. This is my favorite orange color of the pen that I use almost every day. I just think this is the coziest color. Okay, on these pages, I tried to design floral sandwiches. My designing process of an art product or any illustration is like I drew a bunch of doodles in my sketchbook first, and then when I work on my drawing tablet, which is my iPad, I combine some of the doodles when I drew an initial sketch in Procreate. This is my favorite page in this sketchbook. I loved drawing dogs. I think this one is my favorite pose. And this is my favorite face. This face also looks very cute. On these pages, I tried to design a fun, interesting playground for a background illustration. At that time, I think I referenced this similar playground. Like a very hilly playground that has a tunnel and also has a lot of natural elements. If you just look at the reference the photos, it may look very complicated to draw and very stressful. It is also sometimes overwhelming for me as well, especially when I start a new themed project and when I try to find the new visual references online. If I skip drawing in my sketchbook and work straight on my drawing tablet, I wouldn't be able to create an art piece with the quality that I usually produce. When I look at the reference photos and draw in my sketchbook at the same time, I usually take out all the details from the photos and then I draw the doodles in the style that makes me feel comfortable and happy. On the next pages, I drew more puppies. They are also my favorite pages. More puppy drawings on this page. At the time, I think I had to make a Procreate tutorial about how I drew a dog riding a scooter. So I wanted to do some practice. These were the initial ideas to create my new GIFs. I think I made 3 or 4 GIFs. One of them is an animated puppy. It is super cute, so I want to show you guys right now. You have to see. Everyone has to see. Cute! So cute! Cute! When I was drawing on this page, it was the day we just got back home from our long holiday in Korea and Japan. I've been working on a new themed project for September for our Patreon community. The theme we chose was a magical mushroom library. I referenced many photos that has dark academia vibe. I tried to make these illustrations to be more westernized this time. When I drew these little illustrations in black, initially I was thinking of creating an illustration that looks like an old tree and mushrooms popping up on the book, but it didn't work well. I thought it would be very magical. I'm not sure if I really want to draw this idea or not anymore at this point. On this page, I was designing a new thank you card. I found this photo on Pinterest and I thought they look really cute, so I decided to draw them. But I made a small change. I made more of them looking back. I also attempted to draw in a Bernie version after. I think they all look really cute. I really couldn't decide which one I want to stick with, so I decided to make a poll on Instagram story to see my followers' opinion, and more people preferred the cat. Instead of putting them around the window like the photo, I was thinking like where they can be sitting, so I drew a rooftop and I imagined the cat sitting around here. And then I was thinking like cats also can go on the table. I like the last idea, so in the end the cards turned out like this. This is the front and this is the back. I'm really happy about how it turned out. I'm very looking forward to sending this card to you guys. On the last page I just drew random stuffs. Some character has a silly face and some character has a cute face. And that's the end. What I have done to build a sketchbook habit and how you can feel less stressed to fill your sketchbook. My sketchbook is always near my workspace, so I can draw my ideas immediately and stuff I need to practice. What I've drawn in my sketchbook is not only a practice, but the messy and simple drawings are partly my work in progress. I use my sketchbook as a tool to remember what I've been working until the previous night. In addition, the sketchbook is my diary. I think that drawing in a sketchbook also means creating a visual process of the improvement on the creativity and the art technique. I would try to get used to see how I draw on the physical papers. No matter how pretty the drawing is in the sketchbook turn out, I think it is more important to focus on what you need to practice and how confident you will be after you go through a lot of practice. The last thing that I want to mention is that mostly I haven't used the first idea that I drew in my sketchbook. When I see a bunch of initial thoughts, I found that the first idea didn't look interesting. Since then, when I work on a new project, that process reminds me of the importance of making drafts in a sketchbook. This way naturally fills the sketchbook and makes a story of an artist. That's pretty much about today's video. Thank you so much for watching my sketchbook tour. Also, I wanted to say thanks for supporting my art over on Patreon and allowing me doing what I have passion for. If anyone is interested in learning my art process step by step, join our Patreon community. At this point, we have 8 tutorials, more than 18 digital downloads, a monthly art mail for each month, and a bunch of exclusive art content that I usually don't share anywhere online. Please feel free to check out the link in the down description box. Thanks for clicking on my video. Have a wonderful, lovely day. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!